What's happening, everyone? Hope you're having an awesome day so far. As of recently, the gaming news outlet IGN showed off the first 10 minutes to Doom Eternal, and it is beyond amazing for what we were able to see so far. Thankfully, there wasn't a ton of lore or parts to the story revealed, so that is why I decided to do a video on this topic. However, to many people, the first 10 minutes can be a huge spoiler, so if you want the game to be a surprise, come back at a later time. I don't want to intentionally spoil things here without letting anyone know, but once the game is released, you can expect me to be covering a ton of topics on the lore, along with some awesome walkthroughs of the campaign and battle mode. This whole month will have a lot of content, all thanks to IGN covering Doom Eternal, so be sure to follow them as well as my channel to delve into the new content. Before I get going, I always want to say thank you for the support, and if you enjoy Doom content or similar things, then you're in the right place. Let's rip and tear those demons together. Doom 2016 did a great job of starting the game at the right momentum. We had a quick cinematic of sorts, and then the game got you right into the action. Another thing that the game did well on was how it presented the lore and the main storyline to the player. You could somewhat completely ignore everything or do a little bit of digging into the codex entries to get a better understanding of the world around you. Doom Eternal followed the same method, with the exception of a longer cutscene, but allowing you to skip it along with other cutscenes. When the Doom Eternal trailer was revealed a while back, we were able to actually see most of the intro, but of course at the time we didn't know what we were seeing. Let me play a part of the intro where it picks up to get us more into the moment.
50% of our planet has been consumed by the invaders.
We have the Hell Priest signal locked in. The target is marked, but the signal will not hold for long.
For it is he that they fear, not man, or his armies. They fear the mark of the beast.
Awesome, right? As we break down the intro, there are a good amount of details that we can pick out right off the bat. It first starts out with the same intro as Doom 2016, with the Slayer mark gradually showing itself. However, this time we hear the same voice from the intro in Doom 2016, but it says the whole phrase of "we will send unto them only you," added with "rip and tear until it is done." To this day, it's still kind of tough to know specifically who this guy is. Is he the Seraphim or King Novik? A part of me wants to say that it is King Novik, as we now have heard what he sounds like.
You cannot kill the priests. You know our laws. Despite their transgressions against the Covenant, they are still of Sentinel blood. Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
I could be completely wrong, and it could be the Seraphim, as it almost would make more sense to be an angel saying that rather than a king. That's the great thing about speculating right now, because we don't have a solid answer yet. Anyway, after the symbol shows up and while he is still speaking, we can see the surface of Mars, and the camera moves towards Earth, as hell on Earth is the main part of Doom Eternal. We then start to hear voices of people that could be the people we play as in the DLC, as the expansions will allow us to play as someone other than the Doomslayer during the invasion of Earth.
Fall back! No! They're everywhere!
Honestly, it's still a mystery on the DLC, so we will either play as someone else, or we could play as the Doomslayer during the events that take place between the two games. It really intrigues me on how the Slayer's hub is all of a sudden orbiting Earth and has Sentinel origin. So I'm sure either the DLCs will explain the big gap in between the games, or at least we will have to piece it all together with the codex entries that we can find throughout each level. Let me know what you guys think about the gap in between the two games. I'm curious to see what you all say about it. If you you want to get an idea on what I think could have happened, check out one of my earliest and most successful videos, which I will leave a link in the description below. Moving on, we can see the side of the Slayer's face. This time around we get more of an idea on what he looks like, and to me that is totally fine. For many silent protagonists, we can actually see a good amount of their faces, like Master Chief, where we can see part of his face at the legendary ending of Halo 4, the Doom Marine from Doom 3, and of course Link in pretty much any Zelda game. So seeing the Doomslayer's face is not really all that bad, and it allows us to at least know that our hero has a face. His face, however, is not young and smooth-like, but rather rough and scarred, as he has fought many battles against Hell for many years. He is battle-hardened and looked up to as a savior for the people of Earth. Before the Slayer starts to prep himself, we can hear a number of voices, and one of them says to pray that he is watching. Now of course he could just be talking about God, but I think he was talking about the Slayer. As the Slayer is prepping himself in the hub, we can hear Vega talking about locating the Hell Priest. This particular priest was Dig Nylox. For those who haven't seen my more recent videos, the intro to the Exaltia level mentions the death of Dig Nylox, and of course in this intro we know of his death, which we will get to soon. I'd like to also know how the Slayer got Vega restored, as he saved a backup of him from Doom 2016, and sometime between the end of that game and now, he has him within his suit in the hub. In the last game it took a lot of power to just have the AI functioning, so the tech on the hub must have more power, or just because the Slayer has the AI in just the hub in his suit, it doesn't require much power. Just something I thought of. Once Vega pinpoints the location of Dig Nylox, it seems that he is located in what remains of New York City. Considering that city has so many people living there, the demonic invasion must have hit it very hard, leaving hardly any survivors, allowing the Digs to establish their foothold on the region. Anyway, the rest of the intro is just really awesome to see, and I especially love how they use the shotgun pump right before the music really kicks in. Doom 2016 had something similar, but used the pump as the music was fading away. The first level takes place on Earth, but on a barge, which is on top of a Titan. As soon as the Slayer teleports to the barge, you start off with the combat shotgun. I actually really like the design of the default shotgun, and it even looks a lot better than the Doom 2016 version. It's nice to know that you get to start off with the shotgun instead of the pistol, so it's clear now that the pistol didn't make the cut for the game. So the missing slot in the weapon wheel is most likely the Unmaker, as the Crucible has its own dedicated button on a controller and could have its own keybind on the keyboard. I'm actually glad that there isn't a pistol, as it just seemed useless for the majority of people in Doom 2016 and for other Doom games. Once you got the heavy assault rifle, you never really use the pistol again. Of course, there are those that do pistol runs or use the pistol a lot in the first few levels, but now that won't be a thing anymore. This will be the first Doom game to not have a pistol, as far as we know. That's very interesting. One thing to also point out about the IGN gameplay is that they actually play decently well. Thankfully, it's not awful like Dean Takahashi's gameplay, so it's definitely bearable. For those who don't know about Dean, he is a game journalist and somehow had the opportunity to play Doom Eternal for free. Honestly, I really don't know how he was able to play the game, as he was stuck in one area for around 10 minutes or so. Kind of off topic, but I may do a reaction video in the future. Anyway, throughout the barge you get to fight more of the low-level demons like the zombies, imps, and soldiers. There are a few tutorials for the glory kills, chainsaw, and secrets as a way to help the newcomers at getting a grasp on how the game works. I love how the Doomslayer still grabs the chainsaw and looks at it like, what the F is this? It kind of reminds me of Obi-Wan in episode 3 using a blaster to kill General Grievous and then saying that it was so uncivilized. Another thing that is different this time around is the mod bots. In Doom 2016, the Slayer would punch them to get the mod, but now he just grabs it from them. However, the bot still feels sad as it looks downwards after the Slayer leaves it. Just a small detail I've noticed. Also, the collectibles are now demons instead of the Doom guys. I think that is awesome that it decided to do that, and I'm pretty sure in the hub you'll be able to see all the ones you find in the Doom Slayer's office. Hopefully they will be for sale down the road, just like how the little Doom guys were available to buy from Doom 2016. After fighting in the first arena, you come across Dig Nylox in his chambers. Immediately, the Doomslayer grabs him by the throat, and the priest tells him that his soul remains guarded. The Slayer then shows him a talisman or rune of some sort, which seems to be something that can make him vulnerable. Considering that the Hell Priest worked for the Khan Maker, she might have protected them with some kind of power that is very difficult to undo. Hopefully within the lore we can find out where the Slayer came across this rune to use on Dig Nylox. After popping his head off, there is a quick flashback that the Slayer sees. We see both Dig Branok and Dig Nylox handing off some something to someone. 3 ideas come to my mind. The first idea is that this takes place after the Hell Priest brought down the Blood Keep on the Slayer and were in the process of entombing him in a sarcophagus. The second idea is that this is where the 3 Hell Priests met up with each other to initiate the blood ritual. Within the Codex entries found under the Hell Priest, it mentions that in order to complete the invasion of Earth, a blood ritual must be done by the priest. That is why the Doomslayer must put an end to them, since their deaths will prevent the ritual from being completed. On top of that, killing them is part of his revenge for what they have done to the people of Argenta and himself. The third idea is something about the OG Doomguy's helmet. I've noticed this recently within the community quite a bit, and a lot of people think that the priests are handing off what looks to be the Doomguy's helmet to someone. In my opinion, I don't think it's the helmet, as we can see the OG Doomguy's outfit in the hub. Now, of course, the outfit could just be an unlockable, or it may have a bit more of a backstory in confirmation that the Doomslayer is the Doomguy from either the original timeline or another one. The flashback happens quick, so it's tough to make out what exactly is happening, but let me know what you think. Upon examining the head of the priest, the Slayer made sure his crown was straightened out a bit. So now we know that the Doomslayer has a bit of OCD, which for someone who is very meticulous when killing demons, kind of makes sense. Once the Slayer killed the priest, he headed outside of the barge and started to take the fight in the ruins of New York City. Honestly, there wasn't much to see except for the ability to pick up the other mod for the shotgun, afterwards getting the heavy cannon and fighting other demons like the Arachnotron. While fighting the demons within the city, an objective marker mentions that the Slayer needs to interrupt the Dagic Council and to board the Citadel. Obviously, at this point, those who got to play the game early would know more about this, so I will leave it to your imagination, or until someone that got to play it can reveal what that all entails. Something else that I want to mention, though, is that how quickly we get to face off against some higher up demons like the Arachnotron on the first level. By the time you fight your first Arachnotron, you only have the shotgun. At that point, you don't have much of anything like the boost movements, equipment launcher, blood punch, and other abilities. So right off the bat, this game will force you to get used to fighting a mix of demons with little to no abilities and weapons. Nightmare will be fun for sure, right? After that point, you get the heavy cannon and the gameplay ends a little bit later. All in all, this game is really starting to look more and more of what I envision it to be like. Doom Eternal is so good that even IGN, who is sometimes really picky on big titles, are wanting to dedicate this whole month to the game. If you can satisfy them, then you are doing the right thing. I hope you all enjoyed this video and are even more hyped for the game as I am. Be sure to like and subscribe so we can get this video out there more and to build up the channel. Also check out my social media accounts at RipNtear Gaming to see other things over there. You guys are all awesome and I enjoy being a part of this amazing community. Until next time, fellow Slayers, don't forget to rip and tear. Peace.